Someone once said that some days you just have to create your own sunshine. But what happens to your sunshine when you can't display it outside? What happens when you're told that you're going to be locked down and locked in? Just you and your sunshine. What happens when we can't walk anymore? We can't work anymore? What happens when you can't hug anymore? What happens when the face masks just won't let our voices out the door? What happens when we're faced with the impact?
In the last 12 months, we've had like a sudden pandemic, So how did this affect the nature of your job?
Devastation is the word that comes to mind. It was sudden, overnight.
I think personally, like all people, COVID has had an impact on them. I like being around people, so being locked down has been quite a challenge. So coming into work has been great for me to be interacting with the staff, and it is part of my role as the chief exec. So that has been a challenge.
It's felt a little bit like putting out fires. Because people have been here, people have moved in during the pandemic for one reason or another, and the support that we would normally have been able to offer has not been there. The face-to-face support, the being able to sit down with someone over a coffee and really talk. There's definitely something about being able to share even a sandwich with someone, share a meal with someone that allows them to be more comfortable in to allow a more comfortable exchange with them. And we've not had that. So all of the normal ways that you would connect with people, especially new people who are coming in, where you really need to be able to do that, they've not been there. So it's been tough.
Could you tell me, what was your reaction when you heard when the first news of the virus and a possible lockdown hit you?
And we went from having building a community spirit here, which was working very well, to people starting to snap at each other, and you could feel the aggression and the emotion building.
Was heartbreaking. I was furloughed at the time. I had a lot of sleepless nights, tearful nights, if I'm being honest. I adapted, but I found it at the time really, really difficult. Getting to sleep at night, knowing that a lot of my families had had their kind of support network. We all have our support networks, don't we? I struggled. I couldn't see my friends and my family. But for people that were, finding things extra difficult in life at the time, to not have us affected me a lot for the first couple of months. It was a difficult time. Going back to last year,
What has your role as a community worker had to adapt to in the last 12 months?
So we did our homework, and looked at what was starting to happen, what could happen safely, and what was happening in other areas, and decided to, we were going out to people. People couldn't come out or go to places. So we risk assessed quite heavily, and myself and my team have been throughout the last 12 months. We had a little bit in the middle as well, where we were allowed to go out, and we did outdoor services. We did services on fields and at parks where parents could meet for coffee, socially distancing and bubbling, and on fields and at football grounds for the youth where they could come together safely. But that was just for a 2-month period when we were allowed to do that, and then we went back into lockdown.
I think one thing that has kept on going is hope, and just keep moving, as you said. So what do you think the future holds with all of this that has happened?
That's a big question. I don't know. I think we want to have answers, and I think that's how we go through life. We want to know what the answer is. But I think the best that we can do right now is to go from or where we are to what we can see ahead of us, and to try and do that as well as we can, rather than try and aim for something that we you know, is on sort of that we're unsure of.
I think it's a bit like I've worked for the YMCA at times of great need and hardship in this country, and I think it's an opportunity for the YMCA to respond to the needs of people. So accommodation, people are going to need housing, because sadly people are going to lose their jobs, thus therefore lose their places to live. But I think it's also a time for us to work in particular around some of the key topics that have come to the fore around mental health and isolation. So we're already providing services in relation to connecting with people through the telephone, and also I think looking to provide employment for people. So we've set up a number of new opportunities at the YMCA in the last year. So one being our YMCA property maintenance service, and one will be opening soon as our community cafe, and that will be about trying to use our fantastic resources at YMCA Crewe to offer services to people. So we have a building in Gresty Road, which you're in, which is a great community asset, and we want to see that being used more by organisations. So we're not just about providing accommodation for people, we are about providing the opportunity to belong, contribute and thrive.